Hello and welcome to another special episode of Storied San Francisco. I'm your host, Jeff Hunt. All throughout September, we're focusing on small business owners. Some are new to the show, and some are revisits with past guests. In this podcast, we touch base with Mike Lynch of Babylon Burning, whom we first met back in Season 1. Mike talks us through the winter and into the spring of this year, when orders for his screenprinting company first started to slow down. Since then, among other things, they've set up their online store. Please visit babylont.com for more info. And by the way, it's no mistake or coincidence, that voice you'll hear in the background of this podcast. That's Mike's wife, Judy, who's totally an integral part of Team Babylon Burning. Here's Mike.
Okay, so that was Valentine's Day, the closing party? When is Valentine's Day?
February 14th.
So, had a good summer, right? Business-wise. Heading into our winter times, kind of gets tough for us.
Typically, you mean?
Typically, yeah, because it is, even though San Francisco's not really seasonal, right? Like our summer's in October, that's kind of but everything's kind of 70, but winter time does slow down a little bit, right? End of winter, beginning of the year, it just kind of slows down. Then things start ramping back up in like February. Yeah, February.
Okay.
So we're doing our typical thing. I mean, I've been doing this for so long, so typical 23 years of kind of autopilot. Although the last 3 or 4 years been a little struggle. It's getting a little bit harder. I don't know what it is. It's online companies or whatever. Just a climate change, and I just need to adapt better. And I think I am. It's funny because we got a new van.
Yes, you did.
We did some advertising. Mm-hmm. Seth, the artist here, who's awesome. We started doing more social media, our Instagram. We're really kind of ramping it up.
You guys redid your website, right?
Yeah. Already redid the website, new photographs. It looks great. That was all November, December.
Yeah.
We're going to fucking kill it in January. Like the start of it's going to be good. Because I've actually had to borrow some money because it's been a little tough, Okay. But anyways, so starting January, we're ready to get rolling. And then we actually started off okay.
Okay.
And then so when it started, we were just strictly talking about the pandemic and the whole like business part of it. So when it started, of course, we were kind of like everyone else, right? Kind of laughing about it, like what, the flu? We're shutting down because of the flu, right? We have a son that plays hockey, and
March 13th.
Yeah, that's when we started realizing that the stuff was real. We're actually here because a friend of ours was having this party for his daughter, Filipino party, coming out party. What is it when you're 15?
Debutante?
Yeah.
Quinceañera?
It's like that, but Filipino style.
Okay.
They were having a party at at Cafe du Nord. But then the stuff started getting a little real, and things started getting canceled, and we're like, what? And then we're like, just do it here at Babylon. That night was really strange. That night, like, shit hit the fan that night. I don't know when it was, like, end of February, mid-February. Like, we were here helping them, partying, but then at the same time, we're getting texts like, don't go, the hockey tournament's been canceled.
Okay.
And we're like canceling flights, canceling hotels and stuff. So after that is when that's personally, but then we started seeing business-wise. We're like, wow, it's starting to slow down a little bit. But I mean, at first, it was still kind of the same. Some people were making shirts, kind of joking about it, even making shirts about it. And then
you mean with you guys?
Yeah,
so
with us.
Okay.
Yeah, we're like, we survived.
So you're on that edge.
We survived coronavirus, already, and we're like, okay, yeah, and but it kind of it was like as weeks and weeks went by, you could start seeing the seriousness of it, right? And then it also started affecting us, you know. The biggest thing were the tech companies, right? So we do so much local business, the fire department and 826 and so much, the Balboa Theater, and I mean how much local business we do. But our corporate stuff, that's what we started noticing.
Right.
So people aren't going into the office. They're not ordering stuff for the office.
And they're not having conventions or you know,
right,
they're
exactly.
not having parties
Right.
and events
The
and
film
stuff.
festival was shut
Film
down.
fest. So I have film festivals.
Okay.
I have events and corporate swag is all starting to dry up. We're like, what? You know.
Was that before the mayor shut everything down? Or?
That
You noticed that?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
it was
People were panicking.
There was
yeah,
like a
it
lead
was,
up.
I think it was to the lead up, you know. I think people were holding off. And then when it did shut down, that was like, so now it was like permanent. Yeah, we're like, yep. So I would say that, but I'll tell you, it was also, I mean, kind of jumping ahead, the whole thing up to this point, it's such an eye-opener, right? It's like, we are really only supported by local business. We really are. Like again, we're even at this point where we are today, we're at break even. I actually just got an email from my CPA, and we're like even, which is great. I mean, in this time and how many businesses have closed, and to say that you're breaking even is great. But these companies are calling me, all these nonprofits that are trying to save their businesses. So I'm being saved by nonprofits.
That is something I've noticed, is like a lot of folks that can't be open or open in a limited capacity, they're one of the things that they're doing is merch.
Yep.
Where maybe they might have had merch or didn't have merch before, but it's like now it's like, you know, buy a dinner and a T-shirt.
Yes.
Or whatever.
Yep.
So you're seeing some of that as well.
So that's what we start. Actually, that's what I started seeing kind of at first. Like the Balboa Theater, the Rickshaw Stop, and Lucky 13. Those ones stand out, and Cheese Plus, right?
Yeah.
Those four stand out the most because they were really doing it to survive.
Right.
And to pay their employees. So when Lucky 13 was selling their merch, and they were selling a shit ton of it, right? They did, their first time they did it, they did $4,000 worth of merch in the first 2 hours.
Wow.
So they were, again, that sounds great, but it's just to pay the employees. It's not, I don't even know if they were paying rent. That was just to like pay some bills.
Yeah, you're like, that's all the money that they made.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
they're closed,
shut
right?
down,
And maybe they're giving shots to people just because they're coming out to, you know, risk their life to get a Lucky 13 hoodie. But it's so it's kind of an eye opener, you know. Again, not knocking corporate, because corporate's the one that lets us have this gallery and lets us do the fun things that we can do at Babylon, but without the fire department and without Tornado, and I mean, you just go on and on, where it's done, right? We're done.
I call them our rock steady crew.
Yeah, I mean,
they
when
helped us survive.
Yeah, UCSF, another one, you know. UCSF has been picking it up a little bit, and the mask. It's depressing as hell, but printing mask is a real thing, you know.
Yep.
And bandanas, we're doing like ones for the Rye Bar, and people are being creative, right? Like the Balboa Theater hooked up with Green Apple, and they shared a bandana. So people are trying to save money, but trying to raise money to help their employees. So this is kind of like, you know, a real eye opener of like how people can survive. Right. Somebody picked up the other day and said, it was so funny, sad, right? It's like, I mean, you know, we're all walking around with masks. It's like we're surviving. I look at our kids too, and I'm like, wow, you just adapt, you know. It's sad, and someone's like, dude, a fucking nuclear bomb could go off, and we have to figure out a way to survive, right? We're all walking around in hazmat suits, but we got to like figure out a way to like keep the doors open
And then the air turned into smoke. And
right.
Yeah, that
And
was
then
a whole
the
other thing.
Locust and
They're coming.
yeah,
The murder
that's
hornets.
all right. Did they ever show up?
I
that
haven't.
die out?
I haven't seen one. I don't want to fuck with 2020, but I haven't seen
No.
one.
Yeah, we're about ready for it to be done.
Can we go back real fast and talk about as much as you want to share? That
Sure.
is about did you guys have to shut down for a little bit? Did you come back?
Yeah.
Did you?
So,
What did you do?
so we did not shut down. We did not lose a step, right? So the first thing I did when it started getting serious was had a meeting with the guys, right? We started a meeting, and we're like, what are we gonna do, right? There's like 7 of us. I couldn't figure out like how people are shutting down. Like, I know my bills and I know the payroll, and I'm like, how? I don't think we can shut down, and I think I can just keep coming in.
Close the shop.
No.
And you just kind of
Right, I'll get to that. Right, but I'm saying that closed as far as close the business.
Right. And you must
So-
have had orders.
We had orders, so we want
Already.
to finish them. So I had a meeting with the guys. I said, I think we can do this. Is everyone down for it? And everyone kind of agreed. We're like all in the city here. There's one guy that's from Oakland, but he was, he's careful. Shaq, he's careful, and he's taking the BART. I mean, that was the sketchiest thing. But he's masked up and gloved up, and but everyone else, we kind of know where they're at. There's kids involved and stuff. So we agreed. We're like, let's come in. So, but what we did do is we worked behind closed doors.
Right.
Right. And we acknowledged it. We said we're still taking orders, but we're closed to the public.
Okay.
Right. So we kept the door closed, and that was the smart thing too, not having people coming in. Right. And
And the gallery was closed.
right. And the gallery was closed from day one. This has been open.
A lot of masks then too.
Yep.
That was like the craze.
Right away.
Yeah. Right away, we were printing a lot of masks. Yeah.
Everybody wanted
The
bandana.
real cheap ones too, like the fabric ones,
Yeah. Yeah.
Schools wanted
Yeah. But so we were close to the public, and we were kind of working. We weren't working full hours, but we were just getting done what we had in house. And also the agreement, we all kind of agreed, like, because then the talk of the government help, right?
Right.
So I said, hey, you guys, if we can do this. Well, I also, to be honest with you, we kind of stayed open too because I heard about the PPP, and they said that if you lay off your employees, you don't get it.
Right.
And the rules fucking changed so many times that I just kind of told that to the guys, and they all kind of were like, okay, well, let's just keep doing it. But in some weird way, we all felt good about coming in because my friends were telling me, like, you guys are going to work? You're so lucky. We're just sitting at home twiddling our thumbs,
Yeah.
like, and we're like, yeah, I mean, it's scary, but we are going into work. And it was like our own little reality in here, Everything is fine behind the closed doors, and we're like, nothing's changed,
Right.
But so we agreed to stay on because we were hoping to get that PPP, and then so things changed. So then when we did finally get, so we kept going, and that's what we did. We did, and again we stayed steady, but I was at half. It's funny. I was exactly at half of what I did for, say, a good day. I was exactly at half what I would do in a good day.
You mean year over year, or?
Yeah, year over year, month over month.
Okay.
Like we're exactly at I'm bringing in half of what I brought in.
Okay.
So which is basically like a break even.
But
right?
with full staff.
With full staff.
Okay.
So then when the money started, the talk of the PPP started, I kind of agreed. And then but I could see here, people here getting a little crazy because, hearing stories, nobody knows what's true. Remember there was a thing that came out, cardboard boxes, you can catch it from the cardboard box, right? So then that's what we deal with, right? Shirts come in boxes and cardboards, and we're shipping, and UPS is giving it to people, and we're like, what? And it's really, we're so lucky, how it works. Like UPS kept going, right? That's like an essential thing. So we kept getting deliveries. So it's so odd. And again, we're lucky. we're lucky, but we work hard at it, you know. And I definitely work hard at it and hustle, and I feel like we're helping too, right? So we're helping our community. We're helping local people, right?
Absolutely.
So as it got closer, and then as we were going to get the money, I agreed with the guys. I said, hey, if we get that money, it's going to pay for, our payroll and our rent, and then we went down to part-time. So actually, when we got the money, I started giving the guys more time off. We were kind of leaving early, you know. It's funny, we had a little bit of a mutiny because as we were getting the money and we were getting a little bit more work. So I was asking the guys to stay a little bit later, you know, and they're like, okay. And then I asked for an extra day. I think we were working only 3 days.
Okay.
And I go, hey, how about we work 4 days? And they're like, no, we're not working. And, you know, it took me a minute too, because I'm not thinking the way they're thinking, right? I'm just thinking like, I'm thinking like, I want to save their jobs. I want to be able to pay them. And when they're thinking like, dude, we're coming in and we've been coming in all the time. We need this time. We need this break.
Right.
And we're getting paid for it anyway. So, you know, so then it took me a minute to understand and to learn myself. Right.
Okay.
So then after the money ran out, and then we all agreed to get back to full time.
Okay.
So everyone, well, right now we're actually 3 printers are at part time, but mostly everyone's full time, and we're kind of back at it.
5 days a week?
5 days a week.
Shorter hours or same hours?
Same hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so for folks out there maybe listening to this, y'all are open for jobs as you always were?
We are.
Okay.
We are. And we're a little bit more open too, in the sense of being open, right?
Right.
We're opening the doors up. We have a little table out front. We have a table out front that we're like meeting people. We're not letting people still fully in for both and for both reasons, right? We don't know who's wandering in. We're on an alley. We have a whole bunch of alley folk that like they'll just wander in,
Right.
And so I feel like we're being safe with both parties, you know.
Right.
Press checks are a little, you know, it depends on the person. Like we mask up when we meet people, and vice versa. So, but no, we're pretty much open, and I'm starting to feel a little uptick actually. So, still doing all those people that we started with too. The Balboa Theater. The Balboa Theater has turned into. He's selling more merchandise than any brand that I know. You know, and he built a park. Every week he orders from me. Every single week.
Nice.
I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
For a movie theater, it's amazing, and he's a great. Adam and Jamie, his wife, are doing a great job out there.
Yep.
But so we. I feel like we're on the uptick as far as business, and hoping that it's gonna continue that way.
That was Mike Lynch. On the next special episode of Storied San Francisco, we'll hear from Balboa Theater owner Adam Bergeron. That drops this Friday. In the meantime, join us tomorrow for our regular weekly episode. This one with Bernal Beast's Steph Miller. Music for Storied San Francisco is by Otis McDonald. Photography is by Michelle Kilfeather. The show is hosted and produced by me. Michelle and I have produced more than 120 episodes over the last 3 years, and you can find them all over at our website, storiedsf.com. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, as well as just about everywhere you can listen to podcasts. Please subscribe to stay up to date on all the content we publish. And if you have any feedback for us, or you just want to say hi, our email is storiedsf@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. Stay strong, stay safe, and stay healthy.